don't normally do this. I don't. Why can't they see it for what you actually do? But why can't people just stand up and see it for what it is, the action? In that context, listen to what Burleson is asking here. Why wouldn't you? Well, we all know why you wouldn't. Things hit me. It hit me to the point where I'm like, damn! I'm wearing McAfee today because the Colts are the greatest team in the NFL. Danny Dimes or Jonathan Taylor is going to be the MVP. One of the two. Two greatest players in the NFL, one at quarterback, one at running back. So we'll talk about that. Joe Kinsey is going to join us at 10:30 with Screencaps. Bruce Pearl coming up at 9:40. We got to do some talking with the coach. And, of course, our boys, Danny Z and Hammer Time. Shot clock violation is back, and I am too. Let's have a day. Don't have me starts now. Yeah. Morning. I hope everybody is having a wonderful morning. It is absolutely gorgeous here in the great city of Indianapolis. I ask all the time, what the hell? Where do we get weather like this? Nate Burleson blocked me on Twitter yesterday, and probably rightfully so. I ain't mad at him. Nate Burleson, former NFL player who has rose through the ranks through the DEI world of sports broadcasting to a desk like Michael Strahan on CBS this morning. Well, Burleson has stepped in it. That's right, rightfully so. On Thursday, CBS Mornings host Nate Burleson asked former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, whether he felt it was time for Republicans to reflect on their rhetoric following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Now, I don't normally do this. I don't. But I'm starting to get pissed off at how it's open season on Charlie Kirk. I want you to think about this just for a second. I don't think I've ever done this on this show. Reverse the roles. White journalists asking a black man if black rhetoric should be toned down. Now, just think about that. Or Democratic rhetoric, because that's what this is. You know, that's what this is. A white guy got murdered. I never do this. I really don't. I was listening to Burleson, and it just hit me. Like, could you imagine a white guy telling people after the murder of a black guy to tone down the rhetoric because basically that's what caused the murder of that black guy? I swear to God, if you go through the archives of our show, you've never heard me say this. It's not what I do. I talk about DEI. I talk about why certain people were hired, why certain people weren't hired. Certainly did last night. But the truth of the matter is, it just struck me. I can't imagine. Just in that context, listen to what Burleson is asking here.
And Mr. Speaker, I want to get back to you. And as Tony mentioned, not everyone took to his words or his rhetoric. You know, at times they were offensive to specific communities. But with that said, this is not the time to focus on that. We are focused on this tragedy. Speaking of this tragedy, is this a moment for your party to reflect on political violence? Is it a moment for us to think about the responsibility of our political leaders and their voices and what it does to the masses as they get lost in misinformation or disinformation that turns in and spills into political violence?
I say both parties.
Yeah, a guy just got murdered. I'm just fascinated by it. You know, again, I've said this before and I'll say this again. I don't care what you say. I honestly don't. I don't care what you tweet. I don't care what you write. I've been very loose on Twitter of late, all that kind of stuff. I don't care. I care what you do. So you can tell me the rhetoric. You can tell me this. You can tell me that Republicans are at fault. You can tell me however you want to tell me. And that's great. But why can't people just stand up and see it for what it is, the actions? Why can't they see it for what you actually do? You take a gun and you shoot the president of the United States. You have a gun and you are waiting in the woods to shoot the president of the United States. So one, you shot the guy. The other, you're waiting to shoot the guy. You hire whoever hired or however this came about, and I don't believe we're ever going to know. Excuse me. You hired a guy to kill somebody that, you know, in Nate Burleson's words, used offensive language. I would challenge Nate Burleson to go back and listen to what was actually said and how it was said by Charlie Kirk. I would ask, I don't care what he does, but I'm sitting there going, man, that's where we're at. Hey, Nate, you're welcome to piss all the way off. Wow. All right. Here we go. I know you and your CBS friends want to, but I ain't standing for it. Don't you dare point the finger at Republicans. I don't want to hear, especially from someone who knows nothing about politics. In one breath, Nate says this is not the time to focus on that, of course. We are focused on the tragedy. Literally in the next breath, he accused Republicans of encouraging this behavior. Speaking of this tragedy, is this the moment for your party to reflect on political violence? What? Excuse me, I'm sorry. What did you ask him? It's always couched with nonsense. It's always couched with stupid. It's always couched with, am I supposed to gaslight? Is it, what? Hey, what? I mean, honest to God, he's a guy on TV. All right. I mean, he's kind of, we all understand he's kind of the guy. He's the useful idiot of CBS, and he's, they had Michael Strahan over on the other one, and now you got to have this guy. And I don't even care about that. I just get a kick. We just constantly get gaslighted. I mean, I'd ask Nate Burleson, I mean, if we're going to talk politics, let's talk politics. Isn't it time for you and other African Americans to come out and discuss 5% of the population killing 55% of the people? Isn't it time to discuss why you allow, as a community, 2%, 1% of our population, guys 14 to 40, to commit the same amount of murders? Isn't it time to have if we're going to talk politics, if we're not going to at least take a day or two and say, you know what, the death of Charlie Kirk was horrific, and we think about his family. All I've heard is basically blaming, kind of under-eyeing blaming. Well, isn't it? What? All right, hey, look, I don't know. Whatever you want. Last night, Amazon Prime aired the NFL having a moment of reflection. Yes, we're reflecting. Prior to the kickoff at the game at Lambeau Field for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That's good. That's great. Why wouldn't you? Well, we all know why you wouldn't. I mean, you're scared. Well, man, if we honor a white dude, what's our 70-some% black people going to do, the players? I tell you what they're going to do, probably be appreciative that for once the NFL had an open mind. I would argue that in end zones they should put end assassinations. I would argue that in the other end zone they should put stop domestic violence by our current and former players. I would argue those would be powerful messages. It takes all of us. Yeah. End racism. Yeah. I would argue end assassinations. I would argue stop domestic violence by our players and our former players. No, it's just astounding to me. It is. It's astounding to me that immediately, our media tried to squelch. If you listen to Charlie Kirk, what did he say that was so offensive? Now, somebody's going to say, well, he was racist. We always get that, right? No, he was sexist. Oh, he was well, what did he say and how did he say it? Did he say it in response to something? I mean, if you go back and look, the easiest and laziest thing to say, he's racist. Oh, okay, Nate. He offensive. Oh, okay, Nate. Here are my feelings. Oh, DJ Hughley talked basically about what a rotten guy Charlie Kirk was. I got to tell you, I would applaud anybody, anytime, anywhere that did what Charlie Kirk did. Just simply talk about what's common sense. But we're so far gone on TV networks and guys like Nate Burleson and DJ Hughley and others, we're so far gone that actual speaking and debating is viewed as offensive. Hey, Dan, you're racist. No, I'm not, and here's why. You are. Yes, you are, and here's why. Well, that's offensive. That's what it is. I mean, I'm just using race as the easiest thing to pop into. That's it. That's all we got. You're sexist, you're racist, you're fascist, you're Nazi, you're a pedophile, you're a xenophobe, you're anti-trans, whatever. Everybody's labeled as something. And if you come back and say, no, it's not, and here's why, and here's a biblical reference on it, it becomes offensive to guys like Nate Burleson. See, you got to understand, Nate Burleson and others are there to be offended. They're there because they want to give the offended point of view. You know, time ran out on Jamel Hill. The old white guy's there to give context. How'd that work out for that Matthew Dowd idiot? How'd that work out? The little bubble-headed bleach blonde, she's there to just talk. That's from a song back in the 80s. Bubble-headed bleach blonde goes on at 5. She's there to think about it. That's what sets are. And everybody's got a role to play. But I got to tell you, it's amazing. Rolling Stone's mad at us. Rolling Stone's mad because people are defending Charlie Kirk and posting the jobs of people that are going at and celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Good for you, Rolling Stone. Tell you what, you're mad at us, go stand in the corner and be mad. And then when you and Deadspin pump up and get some, come on back. And we'll remember you. People, look, last thing. There are people in your life, there are people in my life, that when they die, I will say to myself, maybe publicly, the world's better off without them. Those people hurt me personally. Those people injured me personally. But to go on a rant and about somebody you don't know, and celebrate the death of a man who's a father, who's a husband, who's only 31 years old. My fat ass dies, celebrate all you want. Hell, I'm 63, had a good run. Good run. What are you doing? But to go on there and publicly celebrate is just evil. I get it. Somebody in your household, somebody in your family, somebody that's, broken into your house, whatever. But somebody that just went and spoke to students about his faith, about politics, gets celebrated. And here's the last thing. How many of these people that are celebrating were teachers? How many were educated, at least that I've seen? I mean, I think I counted 25, at least on the Twitter things that I follow, that are teachers, educators, professors, assistant professors, graduate assistants. It's amazing. It really, again, things hit me. It hit me to the point where I'm like, damn, who's teaching our kids? I hope you're enjoying the show. I don't know. Of course you are. Make sure you head on over to youtube.com/@don'tatme with Dan Dakich to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you'll never, ever, ever miss any of our great content. Awful Announcing released a list of the 25 most influential media personalities of the 2000s. And damn, is this atrocious. 25 years ago, we all still got our highlights from SportsCenter. The idea of watching a live game on your phone would have been crazy talk, let alone being able to bet on it across the country legally. True. Social media consisted of AOL, Instant Messenger. Nobody had yet spoken a word on a podcast. Michael Jordan had yet suited up for the Wizards. Tiger Woods was the most famous athlete in the world, and Tom Brady was still just a 6th-round pick out of Michigan. But as time changed, the world of sports and media involved, they were people along the way who changed the worlds. There's some pretty absurd names in this. Like Mina Kimes didn't change anything. Mina Kimes changed absolutely nothing. She's in this list for the same reason she has a job. And you guys say, well, you're too hard on Mina Kimes. Tell me what she changed. I mean, I'll look, I'll read, I'll see. I mean, tell me what she changed. Honest to God. I think of game-changing personalities, very few, Matt Yoder wrote, would be more impactful than Mina Kimes, although her career began in business and sports journalism, she became a household name as a football analyst. In this role, ESPN, she's been a trailblazer in her ability to break down the game despite never having played. Her excellent work has opened the door for countless others who may not look or sound like your typical sports analyst. See, Ryan Clark, it's possible. No, that's why they put that in, tells you. Matt Yoder's a pretty good guy. I like Matt Yoder. But Matt Yoder told us exactly why he put Mina Kimes in. It has nothing to do with her ability to break down a game. I mean, the only team that I truly know is the Colts, and she tried, and it was one of the dumbest I've ever seen. So I assume that's what she does. Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, absolutely. But I looked at that, and I immediately thought of Mina Kimes. I'm like, how did Ernie Johnson change the game? I like Ernie. People like Ernie. How did Michael Strahan change the game? Michael Strahan didn't do anything. He opened the door for Nate Burleson. Really? Oh. Guys always say this. He opened the door for Nate Burleson and others. Really? Who else? I don't know. Who else? I mean, Tony Romo did at first, no question. Congratulations to Big Cat and PFT. They did. Mike Florio didn't. I mean, I don't know who I would replace him with, but Mike Florio had a blog and Dan Lebatard didn't. Like, these guys are just simply Matt Yoder, who, again, I really like. I know Matt. He's the writer of this article. They're just his friends. They're just his liberal-sided friends. Mina Kimes changed nothing. Stuart Scott kind of did. He made it kind of a hip-hop sports center. He did. When Stuart Scott was on, and back in the day when Chris Berman was doing his shtick with the nicknames, I paid attention. I like Stuart Scott. People said to me, well, Stuart Scott's been dead a long time. How's he on this? No. Stuart Scott made Sports Center hip and cool. Period. He did for me. I don't know. And usually I'm the voice here. Dan Patrick, I suppose. Jim Nantz changed nothing. Jim Nantz was, and still is, the most milquetoast guy in broadcasting history. Like, I'm guessing as a human being, although his very public affair was squelched during divorce because media people like him. His wife was mean to him, so he went and started stooping somebody else. That's true. Look it up. And the media said, yeah, you got to do that. No, that was racism. A brother does that high profile. That is an example of utter I like white guy. The trial of Jim Nantz is one of the most amazing. It really is. I guess Bob Costas did. I suppose, but just because you call games doesn't mean you changed anything. Joe Buck is as nondescript as it gets. I mean, so these guys called games. Skip Bayless changed things. There's no question Skip Bayless changed. Charles Barkley changed things. There's no question. Charles Barkley made it okay for guys like me to go on a set and just mess around. No, he did. Erin Andrews did. She did. Back when I was coaching at Indiana in 2007 was her heyday. And, man, it was a big deal when Erin got the high heels, the boobs out, and away you went. It was. I mean, players on Indiana's team, literally, DJ White said to me, I'm marrying that woman. And when she walked across the court to do a game at Assembly Hall that I was the head coach at against Ohio State, there was a buzz. And people can say whatever they want about Erin Andrews, but she was damn good at her job. She's okay now. She's fine. Too much whining all the time about different stuff. But that's cool. But Erin Andrews, as the hot sideline girl that had big brain on her, absolutely changed the game. McAfee has. This Portnoy has. I guess. I mean, if you want to call him sports, I think Portnoy has. I do. I don't think Doris Burke has it even a little bit. Doris Burke has actually set it back. I get it. You're automatically on here because you're a woman and you're broadcasting, and in the DEI era, we're going to bump you up. But that's all that was. Van Pelt has been nondescript for years. He hasn't changed it. What's Van Pelt really done? Like, I would argue there's numerous guys. Schefter has, no question. Absolutely. Kornheiser and Wilbon, yeah, I'll give them all that. Barkley, of course, and then they got number one, Bill Simmons. Yeah, I suppose, whatever. I mean, Bill Simmons, I don't know. I went through it too long, but I'd be anxious to hear who you all think changed the game in broadcasting. I would. I'd be anxious to hear. I know in Indianapolis, and I'm one guy ever is me, I made sports talk what it is in Indy or the state of Indiana. I mean, it's edgy, it's fun, it's kind of disrespectful, it's uncaring of whether or not some guy's going to say you're a bad guy. I mean, hell. Hey, I'm going to give you prize picks. We got her done last week. This episode, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day on Prize Picks being right and get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. I'm a big, and I got more. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. The best place Prize Picks is to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of viewers and users and sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DAKICH to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Run your game, Prize Picks. I have a mass discount for you. Prize Picks, run your game. I do. I got a max discount for you. This is pretty good. Listen to this. I want to bring it to your attention. Sunday, the 14th of this month, September. Travis Kelce, more than 0.5 receiving yards. Catch a ball, get a yard, boom. That's right. Kelce gets at least 1 yard, you win. I'll do my picks in hour number 2, so do yourself a favor. Get a pen, get a paper, and get her ready, boys and girls, because it's coming. This might be the worst answer ever given by a major sports commissioner in the great United States of America as the NBA's most woke. Adam Silver addressed fans' concern about the rising cost to watch games as a result of them splintering across various streaming networks. Man, it does cost a lot. Telling concerned fans to watch highlights instead. Here's what Adam Silver tells low-income fans to do. Here we go.
There's a huge amount of our content that people can essentially consume for free. I mean, this is very much a highlights-based sport. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service, the New York Times for that matter, to the extent that your content is not behind a paid firewall. There's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, by another example, that is advertising based that consumers can consume.
So you're supposed to go to highlights. That's the answer. So that we can pay Jaylen Brown $60 million a year. But you, Jimmy over there, me, Danny over here, we're supposed to go to highlights. Yeah? Okay. With NBC returning to the NBA broadcasting world and TNT out, games will now also be streamed on Peacock. So that's yet another streaming service fans will have to pay for to catch some game. Amazon Prime has been added to the streaming mix, which, while more people may have it, still adds to the ever-increasing list of different apps needed by fans who want to watch as many games as possible. Man, what did we say? It was like $1,000 if you wanted to catch every game on the NFL variety of streaming packages. No different for basketball, whereas he should be trying to bring in as many viewers as possible, especially as the cost to attend games rise. He's potentially alienating some, basically saying it's your own problem if you can't afford 5 to 10 different streaming services. That's Marilyn Dubinsky of Yahoo Sports. She's right. She's absolutely right. Man, look, I don't long for the days where we had a knob on the TV, and in Chicago as a kid, I was the remote control. Hey, Daddy, my dad would say, turn Channel 5 on. Channel 5 was NBC, 7 was ABC, 9 was WGN, and 2 was CBS. Then we had 2 independent stations, Channel 44, where the White Sox were, and Channel 32. Those were our stations. Oh, yeah, Channel 11 was PBS. 26 was the Mexican-speaking channel. And the Mexican-speaking channel was on that weird die with 26, 32, and 44. I don't know. It was over here. I don't know. But anyway, I don't long for that. But I do say, man, NBA players making $60 million is the reason we got to pay for this. NBA players of absolutely, well, that are absolutely replaceable, making $10 to $15 million is why you got to pay for this. Are we not allowed to say that? Are we not allowed to be like, yo, NBA players, you greedy twats? How about you, I get why they don't. Well, Dan, it's a very small time when we can make our money. Oh, okay. Here, it plays Jingle Bells. Yank on it. No, it's amazing. And Adam Silver basically telling us, hey, go watch some highlights. Matt George ain't happy. This is embarrassing from Adam Silver. One, after working for years to make regular season games matter, you're basically saying they don't matter enough to watch other than highlights. True. Two, this comes off as telling the priced-out customer, yeah, I don't really care if you can't afford to watch. He's not wrong. Of course he's right. Look, go to the New York Times. They got a great highlight package. Go to, I don't know, wherever, InstaFace. Go to InstaFace and Tactic, and you'll see a highlight there. Put in Pacers, you'll see. Oh, okay. Oh, boy. Point made B-ball, I guess. What are we doing here, Adam Silver? Rather than addressing meaningful concerns, fostering a love for the game by making it more accessible, you're deflecting and boiling a sport down to being highlight-based. Yeah. Much of the NBA media is already consumed by hot take culture and taken away from presentation and accessibility, and further leaning into that by saying it can be consumed through surface-level options such as social media is only going to make the matter worse. With all due respect, you watch an NBA game, and one of the things that I like about basketball is the strategy. I don't know that we get a whole lot of strategy in highlights. One of the things that I like is the tension of the moment. I like that about all sports. A 1-0 baseball game into the ninth inning, every pitch has a tension. The tension of the moment, I don't know that you get that in highlights. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe Adam Silver's onto something. The rest of us aren't. But the tension of the moment is big, and it's what draws us to sports. I just go back to this. Mike Trout, great player, but never really had a postseason or late season to get in the playoffs. Tension of the freaking moment. You got to have that. I don't think highlights do. Davey, give me your take on all this. Am I too old school? Should I be, I got every app damn near. I don't know what I don't have. I'm going to have to look. But I don't have Red Zone yet. I didn't get Sunday Ticket yet. But hey, okay. But where are you with all of these apps as a young, hip, smart man?
Dan, so I would say it's a problem across all major conferences or all major sports leagues. And we talked about the cost just to watch every NFL game. Same goes for the NBA, even though I'm not a huge NBA fan. It's just, I don't understand how you expect to grow the game at the level you would want by not making it more accessible. And I'm taking aside the highlight package because, yeah, you can get that. But to your point on being able to actually understand the game, see the strategy that's involved, it's so difficult nowadays. And I mean, especially in some of the areas that these leagues say they want to grow the game, where it's like, hey, we want to serve these communities. Well, if you want to serve them, then don't make it so difficult for them to be able to actually watch the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, professional people, let me put it this way. My brother-in-law is a iron worker, and he's a sports fan. But he's not involved in, like, sports, and he doesn't go to a normal office every day. I'm going to ask him tonight, you getting all these apps to watch football? He was a terrific football player. I don't know. I know about these, truthfully, because I'm in this business, Davey. If I were still coaching and the focus that I did while I was coaching, I don't think I would have any idea about the scope of how much we have to watch these games. I don't think I would. I think us in this industry we know about. I wonder how many people actually know how many apps you got to have or where they can find their team, Davey. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
And last week, Dan, we talked about Stream East being shut down. That was a route a lot of younger people I know went. Obviously, it's illegally pirating these videos, or these games. But yeah, it's going to continue to be a problem because it doesn't seem as though they're looking to try to consolidate a bunch of these games to where it's going to be easier. And at the end of the day, these commissioners, they're beholden to the owners of the leagues, and the main thing they care about is the money. And right now, the money is continuing to come in.
Yeah, it is. I mean, make no mistake, the money is pouring in. I mean, it is. And you know what? Hey, that's hard to argue, because it's hard to argue the success of the NBA when you look at salaries, value of franchises, cost of TV rights. It's we can say, I don't like the NBA. I personally like the NBA. I got no problem. I like going to games way better than I like going to Colts games, Pacer game more than Colts game. I love it. But we can bitch about it. But to your point, Davey, you're the commissioner. You're the human shield for the owners. You're the ATM for the owners. And you're doing the job. In every sport, Goodell's doing the job for the owners. Silver's doing the job without question. Now, I'll go this far, Davey, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but people can bitch about Tony Petitti, or they can bitch about Greg Sankey, Commissioner Sankey of the SEC, Petitti of the Big Ten. They can bitch all they want, but they're making money hand over fist for these leagues. That's their job. That's what they're set to do. That's their commission. So I get it. To your point, Davey, I do. I get it. I don't like it. No.
And you're going to continue to see fans complain about it, but nothing's going to happen.
This is how shallow as a coach I was. In 07, 08, I became assistant coach at Indiana. At that point on, I'd been 10 years as a head coach at Bowling Green. And, I'm not paying really attention. I'm coaching, man. I'm there every day at 6. I go home at 10, do all the stuff coaches do. And then I became the interim head coach. And I've told this story many times. And like Bob Knight, who when he was the head coach of Indiana, I was going to answer every piece of mail that I got. And secretary gave me a handheld thing. Davey Hudson, Nashville, Tennessee. Dear Davey, thank you for your note, blah, 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 blah. And I put it in a pile, and she would transcribe, and we answered every letter. 75% of the letters were about something I knew nothing about. The Big Ten Network was started. That year, I knew nothing. I did not know. I didn't pay attention. And so many people, mostly a lot of farmers in the state of Indiana, rural people, thought that I could do something about it. I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't even know it existed. They didn't know it existed. So I get it. Okay, people adapt. But you're telling me that people are going to adapt to all of these apps? No. All right, it's going to be a great, I said this the other day, great weekend in college sports. Here, South Florida. You set yourself up sometimes, right? You beat Florida, you beat Boise, you beat Florida. You're probably the number one team in the country if you go by what you've done. You went to Gainesville and won? You kidding me? Now it's Miami. Win this one. Woo-hoo, baby. The NFL is great. College football is great. Anybody tells me you can't like both is nuts. Anybody that would have told me 4 weeks ago that I'd be jacked to a certain degree for South Florida, Miami, I tell you, you're nuts. The U hasn't been interesting. South Florida, my ass. No, my ass is ready for it. I don't know if Texas A&M's any good. All right? I don't know. I think Notre Dame is. But I do know this. Texas A&M's got a lot of cash. And when you got a lot of cash, in this era of college football, you got a chance. You got a big chance. You got a big chance because I'm guessing you've paid some pretty good players to play football. I don't know a single name on Texas A&M's roster, and I don't care. But they got money, and they spend money, which means A&M has absolutely the opportunity to upset Notre Dame. Woo, baby. Here we go, Tennessee. Let's see, Tennessee end the 8-game losing streak to Georgia in Knox Vegas. I think so. Joey Aguilar's good. Joey Aguilar, like we talked about yesterday, his dad, Danny Cannell, was on a show that I did. His dad needs to shut up. It's bad business for daddies to talk. Shut up, Mr. Aguilar. I know it was a great trade. You from UCLA to Tennessee, Nico from Tennessee to UCLA. Nico has sucked. You thank Nico for the move. I get it. Stop it. Go away. Let your son do his thing. Just let him do his thing. This weekend, the number one thing is the Colts. Hey, I don't care what you say. The greatest team in the history of football after week one. They got a very tough, very, very good Broncos defense. Very good. As good as there is at pressuring the quarterback. The offensive line for the Colts is going to be tested. Danny Dimes, pre-snap routine, his knowledge, his smarts, his adjustments at the line of scrimmage is going to be tested. But Danny Dimes is on his way to MVP. I think the Colts will score in the 30s. I think Danny Dimes will throw for over 200 plus. And I think the Colts are going to roll. And our friend Gary is going to be texting me, well, wait till next week. That's what we're going to hear. Oh, next week he'll suck. No, Danny Dimes is the man. 0-2 for the Chiefs, unthinkable. But they got the Eagles. And you know I love Jalen Hurts. I do. I love Jalen. I never understood the angst about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the man. And don't forget, the Hoosiers, Indiana University. Think about this. Curt Cignetti will have coached 11 home games in a year and 3 games. 11. If he beats Indiana State, he will be 11-0. Think about this. This is how putrid Indiana football has been. The record for most consecutive home wins in the history of Indiana football is 11. Curt Cignetti will tie the all-time Indiana football home win streak of 11 in his first 11 games if he beats Kurt Mallory, son of Bill Mallory, great coach at Indiana's Indiana State Sycamores. Think about that for a second. Think about how bad we've been at Indiana. No, think about how putrid we've been at Indiana. All right, when we come back, Bruce Pearl is going to join us. Perfect guy to have on today. Can't wait. Bruce Pearl next.
This fall,
You're not just watching the biggest game in college football.
you're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit outkick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
So are we going to have YouTube TV and Fox and everything? Everything's going to be fine by game day, right?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. At least if you're a YouTube TV subscriber, the statement that Fox put out last night was scathing, to say the least. They accused YouTube TV of, taking advantage of their sort of, power and monopoly in the marketplace and not having any sort of serious discussion. So at this point, if I'm a YouTube TV subscriber and I want to watch Texas, Ohio State, my plan is to get up early and get a seat at the bar.
Well, that's a great plan. Actually.
Meanwhile, Chad, if you want to see Auburn and Baylor, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed.
Yeah, as a Fox employee, I've got the free subscription to Fox One, so I can watch Auburn and Baylor on there. That's kind of a humble brag on my part, but I will be seeing that even as a YouTube TV subscriber, which is amazing for me. Not so much for the college football fan out there. Amanda, when you cover these stories in sports business and coverage of leagues that get into these disputes with providers, is it the ultimate loser just the consumer of the sport or that product? Like, we understand why these things happen with one gigantic company wanting more money out of another gigantic company. That part of it to me is kind of boring, but what the actual effect is to the fan.
I love having Coach Pearl on. You can follow him at Coach Bruce Pearl. He is the chairman of the U.S. Israel Education Association. So I'm, it's interesting, Bruce. Sports fans can get really nasty. But what I've learned, and I get death threats damn near every day, what I've learned is politics a whole different animal. So I'm going to ask you, we saw what happened with Charlie Kirk. You fearful? Or do you not fearful? I'm not fearful. Do you think about, have you changed in your thought about protecting yourself and your family?
That's a great question, Dan. First of all, it's great to be with you. And so glad we're going to get a chance to talk about Charlie a little bit. Dan, if I was 35 instead of 65, I think I would have a different answer. I'm had a pretty good run. And I want to be around a little longer and enjoy my kids and my grandkids and so on and so forth. I do. But I'm not as fearful as if I was younger, because what breaks my heart about Charlie and some of these young people is they haven't been married very long. They haven't been a father very long. They haven't experienced the beauty of this life. This is a beautiful and broken world. It's a beautiful and broken world all at once. And so, maybe I've gotten death threats, and I've got maybe a few more security cameras around the house. So at least after somebody does break in and enter and do something, at least we'll know who it was. But I got my head on a swivel, but I'm not going to live my life that way. Charlie was a man of faith. He knew where he was going when his time came. I know that's not what he was planning on, because he had so much to live for here. Dan, he was leading, I think, the most important revival that was taking place in our country, and that was young, conservative Christian people who were on fire for God, who were on fire for Jesus, who were on fire for this country to help get involved in service and the process, and also began to see just that the other side was so different than how they felt about faith and family and the right to life, and so many things that we sort of take for granted as part of our DNA. The opposition is pulling farther apart from us, and also getting more violent. And I think the reason why they're getting more violent is because, like Charlie Kirk proved every time he debated and had a discussion, he was on the side of right. He was on the side of good. He was on the side of accurate history and for the most part of what he talked about, and they couldn't beat him. And so they killed him. They murdered him. They assassinated him. They eliminated him. But what they didn't realize is they actually didn't, because he is going to live on. He's going to live on through all of us that followed him, that learned from him. Because here's the deal, Dan. Like, Dan, you are one of the best at what you do. You are. But we all, and I'm pretty good at what I do too, but none of us could touch Charlie. I mean, he had a different gift, and he'll be so missed.
It's funny. I feel like I'm constantly lied to, and I don't like it. Like I feel like, and I'm going to get into a couple things because I love talking to you about Israeli issues and what's going on, but I feel like I'm just constantly lied to. I hear on CBS, Nate Burleson talks about how Republicans need to tone down their rhetoric. And I say to myself, wait a second. I care what you say. Okay, fine. But more, I care what you do. And you know what? You mentioned the other side. They shot the president in the head, tried to ambush the president. Media doesn't tell us the truth. Media encourages free Palestine, that nonsense. I feel lied to, Bruce, and that's where my frustration comes in. I feel gaslit, which I don't even knew what that meant 5 years ago. Now I do. Now it's like every day. I just don't like being lied to, Bruce.
Yep. Well, Dan, that's why what you're doing with Outkick and things like that is really, really important. Because here's the thing. I almost sometimes don't even blame the kids on these college campuses that are holding up these support for Hamas and Free Palestine, because they just don't know any better, and they've just not been taught. And that's your fault, Coach. That's my fault, Coach, because we're teachers, and we have not taught our society well. We're afraid that there are two sides to certain issues. No, there really aren't. This is the history. This is actually what happened. Sometimes it can be written with a slant, so on and so forth, but we're just so afraid to take a position and take a stand. Charlie, obviously wasn't. We can all tone the rhetoric down, but not the day after Charlie was murdered by somebody that. Right. And here's the thing: right. We don't know who did it. All right, but we know that whoever did it most likely belonged to some element of society that believed in socialism, or was following all these transgender issues, or believed boys should play in girls' sports, or wanted to protect the right of a woman to make a choice, or hated our country for the direction it was going, had Trump derangement syndrome. There was a free Palestine person. Like all the things that I just mentioned, that all of your listeners are going, well, I'm for all that. And so there obviously is no telling. I do believe the media is complicit. I do think they have absolutely played a role in here. No, the day or two after Charlie got murdered, it's not time to talk about both sides. It's a time to remind the world that there's been an element of our political society that has been much more violent. Yes, we all need to tone it down. We all need to tamp it down. Dan, one of the reasons why I considered strongly running for the United States Senate, and I'm at a place right now where I'm not likely to do that, is just I don't know that there are enough folks in D.C. that are willing to get along. We've got a huge immigration problem in our country, but we have an amazing opportunity. Like right now, we're getting rid of a lot of bad folks, and that's really, really good. But we all know, we all have friends, we all have people that we work with that may not be here legally, and they've been here a while. Their kids have been in school with our kids, so on and so forth. It's time to figure out a way to bring them in some form or fashion. I'm not the guy that's going to solve it. But here's the problem. Democrats won't work with Republicans to give the Republicans a win when they're in charge, and the Republicans won't work with the Democrats when they're in charge. That's not what America is all about. I'm sorry. America is all about making America great again, but working together. And we're clearly not working together, and it's getting farther and farther apart. And so I think part of our message, even here, talking to mostly folks that are on the right side, we got to find a way to not hate the Democrats. We can hate what some of the things they believe in and stand for, but we've got to take the violence out of the political arena. Like you said, yell and scream at me if you're from Kentucky and you want to beat my ass. Go ahead, have at it. But you don't really want to kill me. In a way, you kind of got a little respect for the fact that we actually think we can go to Rupp Arena and beat your ass. And it's a great competition. It's a great competition. The respect that we have in coaching. Yeah, we hated recruiting against each other and all the other stuff that went along. But you know what? I look down the other end sometimes. I said, you know what? That guy's pretty good. He cares about his kids. They run some good stuff. And there's honor amongst warriors. We've lost that.
I think it was emphasized. This was what really made me sad. I remember exactly where I was at 9/11. I'm sure you do too, 2001. And I remember the aftermath. I remember Congress coming together on the steps of the Capitol. And I remember people hugging one another. And I remember that very vividly. I do. I remember being like, man, I'm going to get my kids. I don't give a crap. I'm going to get them. I'm going to hug them in Bowling Green, Ohio. I don't give a damn. But then I see what happened after Charlie Kirk's death, where just a moment of silence was broached on the floor of the Senate. I think it was the Senate. Booing ensued. Yelling ensued. Like, wait, come on. I mean, that exemplified for me, Coach, where we're at. And to your point, it simply has to stop. We're not a third world country. We're supposed to be people of substance. We're supposed to be people of compassion, of empathy. And if you can't have empathy, when I think Donald Trump was making a speech and that little boy was in the police outfit who had beat cancer, that wouldn't stand for him, wouldn't have a freaking moment of silence for Charlie Kirk because he thought different, Bruce, that to me, on 9/11, that it was almost perfect symmetry for where we're at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense, and obviously it's incredibly frustrating. This country was founded based on an attempt for people to have some freedom from government. And it was based on the pursuit of praying the way they wanted to pray. And it was the freedom of religion, which is the foundation of this country. So faith, family, God, bless America, is the foundation of our government. And so when there is an opportunity to pray, shut up. Bow your head.
Yeah.
Place your hands in a posture. Have a moment with God. Have a moment. Be respectful of the process. And, especially in that chamber. And so it does tell you where we are. It tells you where we are. We all recognize that was a disgusting, gross display of child. Those are role models. Not for my children, not for your kid, not for my grandkids. There's no way.
That's right.
We've got to find people like Senator Katie Britt and our senator from Pennsylvania. Just got a 65-year-old brain fart, Fetterman, and they've got to, and each one of them have got to find two more, and they got to find two more, and they got to come together right now in Congress and put 2 people in a room, 4 people in a room, 6 people in a room, get as many as they can, and say, look, we got to change this, and the time to change. This is a political assassination. I put this on the same level. And Dan, we haven't had a political assassination in a long time. We've had a lot of attempts at life. They tried to kill President Trump twice. They're going to try to kill him again. They try to kill Steve Scalise. They try to kill Ford and Reagan, and the list goes. When was the last time we actually had a death? Might have been Robert Kennedy back in 1968. And so you're right. And I do think that by honoring Charlie, and I know you were a friend, and I know you were an admirer of his work, and what a great loss. I think we owe it to him to continue to have debate, to not call for violence, to absolutely stop. And I don't know that today's the day, but at some point the rhetoric needs to stop. It needs to calm down on both ends. Okay, and that's all I got to say about that.
I got to let you go. You have a hard out right now. You got stuff to do, man.
I do, brother. I do. But let's get one more question on Israel, and then we'll go. And
all right.
I like my basketball team. I like my team. I love my staff. I like my team. We're working really hard. The schedule is crazy. Come watch us play Purdue. I know. You still got. I don't know. Can you still root against Purdue? Are you allowed to? Or do you now have
openly?
You cannot
openly.
You're never going to change, are you?
I
love that. You're never going to change
against Purdue.
But now you got a Colts jersey on right now. All of a sudden, Colts are doing pretty good. They've listened to you, and they're finally they got a chance.
It makes my guys in New York crazy that Daniel Jones is the greatest quarterback in the history of football after week 1, coach. It makes them crazy. They're all mad. He's the greatest quarterback ever. They're going to the Super Bowl. He's dollar Danny. And I don't want to hear any of this nonsense of what happened in New York. It's, this. You've had different jobs. You get life. You get life from a change of environment. You get life, energy. That's right, coach.
You get to keep the best versions of yourself, and that's what I tell people all the time when they're changing situations or changing jobs or about just when the sun comes up the next day. Keep the best of you. You know you.
Yeah.
Nobody knows you better than you. Keep the best of you. You know what? Get rid of some of the other stuff that you got to get rid of in that baggage, and that happens a lot. And he's got some other guys around him that help him being successful. What a great fresh start. And so here's the deal, Dan. We live in a beautiful, amazing, incredible, wonderful, broken world. And God is our only hope to get past the broken. Because he's created an incredible opportunity for all of us to live and to love and to cherish. And I remember on the movie Steel Magnolias when the actress Miss Roberts was telling her mom that Sally Field that she'd take just 5 minutes of wonderful, or, just for then a lifetime of just okay. And so I sort of feel the same way about that, Dan. Give me wonderful, and then I'll take the pain that goes along with it, then a lifetime full of vanilla. So my message is, guys, make the most of this day. Have an incredible weekend. Go watch a high school football game tonight and just enjoy the blessings of life, because Charlie is not going to have that opportunity right now. That's my message. I appreciate you, brother.
I didn't have Steel Magnolias being quoted today with Coach Pearl, but here we are. Yeah. Appreciate you, my friend. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you as always for coming on.
Thanks, Dan. God bless America.
That's our guy, man, Bruce Pearl. I you know what? Nobody says it better. He's the chairman of the U.S. Israel Education Association, and when he speaks on issues, and we didn't get into that many, including somebody chanting Free Palestine getting close to President Trump. Man, what are we doing? But anyway, dollar, Danny, Gary, our boss, Nick, and Davey was texting me while I was on the dumpster. You're going to hate Daniel Jones by Game 5. No, I'm not. Dollar, Danny. Be right back. It's Shot Clock Violation. My boy, Jason Ellenhammer. My boy, Danny Zaksheske, next.
Folks, I can't believe this is real life, but here we go again. At 2:30 a.m., a federal activist judge by the name of, I kid you not, Sparkle Suknanen, halted a repatriation flight full of illegal alien unaccompanied minors from Guatemala from being returned to Guatemala at the request of the Guatemalan government to be reunited with their parents in Guatemala. Judge Sparkle cited child safety and due process in this emergency order as her reasoning for halting the flight just before takeoff. Forgive me, Sparkle, but these children, these minors, came into our country alone from Guatemala, effectively orphaned in a foreign country. And you think keeping them here in a foreign country, away from their parents in their home country, is about their welfare? First, this is another case of judicial overreach. The executive branch, meaning President Trump, has the authority to enforce immigration law. Blocking a lawful deportation at the last minute, especially one requested by the child's home country, is BS. Second, it undermines border enforcement. When courts send the message that even deportations involving coordination with foreign governments can be stopped by legal challenges, it reinforces the idea that illegal entry leads to indefinite stays, a major pull factor in illegal immigration and ultimately what the Democrats want. Third, this situation risks incentivizing more dangerous child smuggling. If minors can't be quickly and lawfully returned, families and traffickers see it as a green light to keep sending kids alone across that border. Also, who's in control of our border policy? Our elected government or unelected judges like Ms. Sparkle? Bottom line, American libs want illegal aliens to stay here. All of them. Gangbangers, the unaccompanied orphans, the traffickers, the wife beaters. All of them. Is there a single illegal alien they are in favor of deporting?
Oh, man, the off-air question that we're going to ask in a second here was too good. It is Shot Clock Violation with Danny Z and Jason Ellenhammer. Welcome back to another installment. featuring our two buddies. Rules simple, 4 topics, 4 rounds of debate each other. You have 30 seconds on the clock. Give your best take. If the segment ends, we're going to go to a 5th question because that's what we do. I just like hearing these two guys yap. There'll be something ridiculous and risque by Hammer on the left, and on the right, Danny Z will bitch about something. Mostly me. But it's hard because I'm glorious today. Welcome, boys. I flipped a coin. Hammer, you go first. Would you turn your son in for murder is the question that you asked, Hammer. What do you got?
So this is the breaking news, right? The assassin of Charlie Kirk taken into custody. And per the press conference, it was his father, who is a 20-plus year vet of the local sheriff's department there. He got a son to give him the confession, secured his son, and took him to the authorities. So would I turn my son in for murder? Yes. If somebody didn't secure him and take him in, they were going to kill him. Now, he might die anyway with the death penalty, but you got to turn your kid in for murder. Now, there are other crimes maybe we'll do a little help with. Like if he robs a bank or something, victimless crime. But if you murder somebody, if you sexually assault somebody, man, you got to take him to the authorities, right?
Danny, do you? He said right. Is he right?
Okay. This is going to be controversial. But I think it depends on who the victim is. I really do. I mean, is it someone that I wanted dead? Ooh. I mean, was it? There's just so many variables here, Dan. I mean, I think in this case, yes, absolutely, because I do believe Hammer is right that this kid was probably going to be killed if caught by anyone else, or even he probably wanted to get into a gunfight with the authorities so that he would die and not have to face punishment. So in that case, yes, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as just for murder. I think I need more information. I got to know who was murdered. I got to know why it happened, and I got to know how it affected me.
Okay. So we got like a little mafia thing going on here. I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad at a little mafia style. Like if you kill a drug dealer, all right, then maybe I will help you.
Have you guys ever seen the movie or the show? It's a long-running show, Dexter.
I've heard of it. I've never seen an episode.
Well, Dexter is a crazy serial killer who only kills bad guys. He's Danny's guy. He is literally, and his father taught him to do this. So it would be like Danny teaching his son to only kill the bad guys. Danny is the father of Dexter. Look it up. It's a really good show. I can't stop watching it. But when you said that, I'm like, all right. He's
a federal agent told me that at any point in America, at any time, there are 20 active serial killers that people don't know about.
Yeah, that's good news. All right, the NFL Week 1 overreaction. Any overreactions? Denny Green once said, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. With that said, what's a Week 1 overreaction? I'll give you mine. The Colts are going to the Super Bowl, and Danny Dimes is now Dollar Danny, and he's going to be MVP. What do you got, Danny Z?
I got 2. One, I'm going to piggyback off yours because to me, one of the biggest overreactions is that the Miami Dolphins are the worst team in football because of their performance against the Colts. So I don't think that's true. I don't think the Dolphins are good, but I don't think they're anywhere near the bottom of the NFL when you have teams like the Panthers, the Browns. Look, the Colts played well. Dimes looked good. Are they going to the Super Bowl? No. Is Daniel Jones winning the MVP? No. But I don't think the Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL. Another overreaction, the Chiefs are dead. I don't think that's true either. They still have Patrick Mahomes. They're missing a ton of guys. Rashee Rice will come back. Xavier Worthy will come back. Everything's going to be fine with the Chiefs. They'll make the playoffs. They'll probably make a run, and they'll probably be in the AFC Championship game. No, the Chiefs are not dead after 1 week.
Well, you gave underreaction to the overreaction.
I thought that's what we were doing, is making fun of people who are overreacting to Week 1, because I wrote a column that is literally titled Week 1 Means Nothing. I'm not overreacting to anything because Week 1 represents 6% of the NFL season. People take way too little information because we've got nothing, and they just run with it. I think it's ridiculous. I'm not going to overreact to Week 1. I'm going to only underreact to Week 1 because it means almost nothing.
Yeah, well, bullshit. You can't go 2-0 unless you go 1-0. What do you got, Hammer?
I'm with you, Coach. Tear down the Peyton Manning statue at Lucas Oil Stadium and put a Danny Dimes one in there. Bulldoze the Peyton Manning statue. Here comes Statue Dimes. Also, the overreaction here is that there's something broken with Cincinnati's offense. For whatever reason, Cleveland always plays Cincinnati really well. It's just one of those matchups. It's a divisional thing. Cleveland's got some dudes defensively. Joe Burrow's going to be fine. All of this talk about something being wrong with Cincinnati's offense, let's pump the brakes here just a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely something with the Browns, and his name is Myles Garrett. That's the problem. The Bengals have never figured out how to block Myles Garrett. Never. Not once.
Hey, I saw Myles Garrett without his shirt on at a press conference. Ain't nobody blocking that guy. Hey, I wouldn't even. Hey, Myles, whatever you need, man. Go ahead. I want to. That's a bad boy. And I'm going to say yes. The Green Bay Packers, the team to beat in the NFC after last night's dominating win on Thursday Night Football. I think the Pack look good, Danny. I do. I think they look good.
Yeah, I wanted to label this as an overreaction after week one, but I'm kind of coming around, man. That defense still wins championships. And by the way, defenses are leading the way again. It's all about, the NFL has always been about adapting to the changes. Offense has exploded and defenses have kind of figured it out. They play the shell coverages like, look, yeah, we're going to give up big plays because we can't touch receivers. We can't touch quarterbacks. Like, all right, get into the red zone. Then we make our stop and we get field goals. But the Packers defense doesn't let you move down the field at all. They made the Detroit Lions offense look incompetent. They made Jaden Daniels look like an average NFL quarterback. I think the Packers defense is good enough. I do have questions about Jordan Love because I'm still not a believer. Still thought he missed some really easy throws yesterday. Made a couple good throws, but still missing some easy throws, missing some easy reads. But I don't know that it matters. I think their defense might be so good that it doesn't matter.
Hammer?
Did they stop playing football in Philadelphia? They just decide to say, screw it, we're done here? Because last time I checked, they hung up a freaking banner in week number 1. And they got some dudes over there, too. Like, if you're doing a tale of the tape of Green Bay and Philadelphia here, is Love that much better than Jalen Hurts? Maybe a little bit, but I think Philly's got better receivers. I think Philly's got the better rush game. Green Bay's better defensively, but I don't think it's by a lot. Look at the offenses that Green Bay's played so far. I've never been as big on Jaden Daniels as a lot of people are. I think Detroit's taken a step back without their coordinator. Philly's going to put up some points, even if they start slow. We saw that with the Cowboys. Philly's going to find a way to put that damn thing in the end zone. So until further notice, the road goes through Philly.
Well, two things. First of all, I agree that Philly would be number 2 in this scenario. I still think Green Bay is the team to beat, but a couple points I want to make. Number one, what really impressed me about Green Bay's defense was their ability to stop two very different offenses. Jared Goff, quick passing offense, doesn't move. Jaden Daniels loves to run. They stopped both of them and looked impressive doing both, which means they're adapting well to what. So I think Green Bay will put up a strong defense against Philly. And by the way, I think the gap between Philly's defense and Green Bay's defense is actually kind of large. Philly's lost a couple players. So that's what happens when you win a couple of, when you make the Super Bowl and then win the Super Bowl. Guys get overpaid, right? Everybody wants a piece of that championship winning pedigree. So they lost a lot of guys on defense over the last couple of years. And I think that's going to matter.
But even we saw in the Dallas game, though, like when they needed a stop, like after that lightning delay, which is weird anyway, when they needed a stop, they got one. I want to see Green Bay. I want to see Jordan Love. I want to see all the players on offense and defense for Green Bay do it in a big game. Philly's done it.
I was just on Twitter, breaking news. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles have stopped playing football and have ceded the NFC to the Packers. I just came up here. All right, big fat bald guys. I love when big fat bald guys do stuff. Steve Ballmer, the Clippers owner, is in the hot seat. Said his team skirted the salary cap by paying Kawhi Leonard under the table. Speaking of mafia, they gave Leonard a $15 million no-show job. What should the punishment be, Hammer? What should it be? Should he be forced to sell the team? What?
First of all, I'd like to point out the awesome Peyton Manning statue graphic that your behind-the-scenes team threw up there.
Yeah.
They put that up there, and I wanted to make sure they got full credit for it. The Danny Dimes statue replacing the Peyton statue. But in terms of the punishment for Ballmer, I'm going to give you the Conor McGregor answer. Nothing. I'd like to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Listen, this isn't the worst thing in the world in the NBA. It's not like he was dropping racial slurs like previous owners of the Clippers. It's not like he was assaulting somebody. It's not, anything other than trying to maneuver the salary cap. You think the league's going to punish a dude who brought that awesome, badass stadium into the league? Have you seen that thing? It's awesome. They got like HD screens all the way around. It lights up like a rock concert. They're not going to punish that dude. Come on.
What do you got, Danny Z? I don't disagree. What do you got, Danny Z?
Well, I guess I'm losing the point if you already agree with Hammer, because I completely disagree. The league has to punish Ballmer if this is true. They have to. They have to, because otherwise you've just opened it up to the wild, wild west, and now this is going to become the new normal. Look, I'm with you. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But once you get caught, man, you're going to have to face the judge and jury, and that's the way it goes. They got caught. And yes, there has to be a punishment because these guys are all rich. And if they don't punish Ballmer, every owner is going to be like, okay, what can we do to do the same thing to skirt the salary cap? So absolutely, they must punish Steve Ballmer. It's not even a question. They have to. Do they have to force him to sell the team? No.
Let me ask you, do you think other owners, my initial thought was, first off, that's brilliant. Like what Ballmer did was brilliant. That was my first thought. Oh, that's brilliant. Second, how many owners, if any, maybe none, I don't know your thoughts, we don't know the answer, but how many owners are like, oh man, hope they don't catch us. Oh man, you know what? I did this. I've been doing.
Right.
It seemed like too smart a plan for only one guy to be doing, Danny. That's the way it seemed to me.
Which is why it's interesting that you said, like, oh, this is genius. Well, apparently not, because if it's been done before, then Ballmer was the first to get caught, which makes him the opposite of a genius. He was the one who got caught doing it.
I didn't say he was genius. I didn't say he was genius. I said the idea of doing it is genius. I do. I think it's brilliant.
I think every owner in that league has got their butt cheeks a little tighter seeing this story because they're doing a lot of it. Like, you don't think for a minute that Dolan or any of these other dudes haven't heard about it or are doing it themselves? The rumors about Dolan are already out there with the Knicks. I think it's interesting. You don't see a lot of the owners going up on television, doing these pressers. This is not who we are. This is unacceptable. This is bad for the league. They know better.
Let me say this too, and I think this is a part of the reason, and Ballmer being the Clippers owner is a big deal here, and I'll tell you why. I do think the salary cap is a bit unfair given that teams are in different states across the country. Like, it is absolutely a benefit to be in Texas with no state tax or Florida than when you have the same salary cap, guys go to California, they got to pay an extra 13% on their like, I know no one cares and no one's going to cry for millionaires, but it matters. It matters going like the other guy you mentioned, James Dolan, New York City. Those guys have to pay so much in taxes because they play for the Knicks as opposed to playing in a state where there's no tax. Like, I think that matters. And I think these leagues actually need to do something to correct that part of it. I think the salary cap needs to be adjusted for state tax.
I'm with you 100%.
I had a very prominent NBA player. Hold on. I had a very prominent NBA player tell me the worst place to play, and the media says it's great because of Madison Square Garden. Worst place by far to play is the Knicks for a variety of reasons. The taxes are out of control. You got to live in Westchester. You got to get a driver, come into Madison Square Garden in the middle of all of it. The practice facilities. And so while the media says, oh, it's great in the Garden, it's great. To your point, Danny, and I'm going to make it broader, taxes are among the real life issues that real life hits players right in the face with. Like Michael Jordan, he had it perfect. He lived straight up the highway. And the United Center was on the west side. You could see it from the highway. He got off the highway, made two rights, and was in the tunnel. It ain't that way in most other cities, and that's in addition to taxes. Go ahead, Hammer.
I was going to say, I think you're starting to see more and more free agents at least consider that. Now, if it's a ridiculous number, if it's something Ohtani can work out where you get paid for the rest of your life, fine. But I think more and more free agents are starting to look at that as a factor. Local elections have consequences, from your crime to your money to even your sports. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. The mayor in Jaws 2 was the mayor from Jaws 1. So local elections have consequences. You can't keep putting the same morons in there and expect a different result.
Yes, and I would like to say that what used to offset that sort of paying the extra taxes and having to drive all the way to all that was that you had to play for New York or LA if you wanted to get famous. Like, it's not like that anymore. With social media and with every game being broadcast and highlight, like, it doesn't really matter what team you play for. You can become a household name. But the tax used to be you traded that because you had to be a Laker. You had to be a Knick. You don't anymore. So I think there needs to be an adjustment to that. And also, back to Ballmer real quick. It reminded me of the great Dave Chappelle joke where it was like, he said something along the lines of like, they weren't mad at Trump for not paying taxes. They were mad because he was saying what they were all already doing. And that is exactly what the other owners are pissed about. Because even the Democrat politicians are like, yo, Trump, shut up, dude. Like, stop telling them what we're doing.
Right. I did not have, I don't know about you, Nick or Davey back there, I didn't have Steel Magnolias quoted by Bruce Pearl, nor did I have Jaws 2 as an example in today's show. What a show we got today. We got all the great movies being talked about. Rocky start, Danny Z, for Bill Belichick. He's 1-1, got that big win over Charlotte. Is Belichick going to get in UNC into a bowl? But bit broader question, is Bill Belichick going to make USC into a power on the national level?
No, he won't. Because I don't think he's going to be there long enough. Really, I feel like this is one of those situations where he thought this would be great. He's going to add to his legacy and prove that, because Tom Brady left Belichick and went and won a Super Bowl. And I think that was a big hit to Belichick's ego because a lot of it was like, okay, was it Brady? Was it Belichick? I think a lot of people have gone the Brady route, especially because he left and won a Super Bowl. But this isn't working out the way Bill hoped it would. He's almost 80 years old at this point. I really just think he's going to walk away after this season. I'm going to say it right now. Belichick coaches one season for North Carolina and leaves.
Hammer.
Not going to be a national player. They're never going to be in contention to win the ACC. But if success for North Carolina is sneaking into a bowl game this year, I think they can be done here. So they got one win already, and I just brought up their schedule. Okay, so Richmond, that's a win. They're not going to beat Clemson. UCF is a cross, could go either way. Cal could be iffy, but they can beat Virginia. They can beat Syracuse. Stanford's ass. Yeah. They'll beat Stanford. Wake Forest is pretty good. They could beat Duke, rivalry game. So if they get those wins and maybe sneak one more along the way, they go to a bowl game. 6 wins in a bowl game for that program. I think that's a win for Bill. I don't know if he's there for a long time, but they could make a bowl game.
Yeah, I think the schedule is one of the easiest in the country. I do. I looked at it before the year, and I thought to myself, it's a little like Cignetti at Indiana. Last year they played one ranked team, which you never do in the Big Ten. Now, we'll see what you mentioned, UCF with Frost back there, that kind of thing. But I don't think I agree with both of you. I think he's going to probably make a bowl, and I don't know why. Maybe Danny, you can tell me. Maybe it's because he coached at Jackson State and was a college coach, but Deion Sanders to me feels better as a college coach than Bill Belichick feels as a college coach. I get Belichick. We all seen him on the sidelines, all that kind of stuff for years and years and years. Maybe that's it. But do you agree with that? Sanders seems, it feels better with Sanders as a college coach.
Yeah, and I think Belichick's personality is more suited to work with professional athletes, older guys. Like Deion is cool. Like I know we like to look for all these things, but like he's cool. Like going to Colorado and playing for Deion and being on, like that's a cool thing. And I think a lot of 17, 18-year-olds when they're thinking about where they want to play college football, like, yeah, man, going to play for Deion, like that'd be awesome. Belichick is not cool. And you're seeing it even with the girlfriend stuff. Like, okay, he's dating a young, hot 24-year-old, but like, it's not a cool relationship. It's weird. She's everywhere. Like, I know we want to come up with these like crazy good answers and intricate answers. Like, I literally think it boils down to Belichick's like not cool to young people, and Dion is.
Right. Dion endorses diapers and people think it's awesome. Right? Who pulls that off? Dion is endorsing Depends, and it's a cool thing.
Right.
Belichick wears Depends. We're kind of sad about it.
Yes. I mean, honest to God, when I saw that Deion Sanders was endorsing Depends after he got his bladder taken out, I was high-fiving. I told Lee, but I'm going to go get some Triple X. But then I had penis surgery last week, and it's all got roto-rootered out of there. They got it all out of there. But you're right.
Wait a minute. You had penis surgery?
Cool.
Hold on.
I did.
On.
Yeah,
What?
I did. Double D, and I'm very, very open about my various health issues. Double D couldn't pee much. And I was having a little problem, big-time problem with that. I held the surgery off for a year until I got the right doctor. I went in to see the doctor last Tuesday, a week ago, and he's like, here's what you got to have. And I knew, I know. He goes, when you want to do it? I said, how about tomorrow? He goes, let me check my schedule. So I had it on the next Wednesday, and I was lifting and moving shit by Wednesday night, which is not great. And I will say this, I am still peeing blood a week later, and that ain't fun. Anyway, enough about my groin.
No. I have a question.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
How did you know it was the wrong doctor?
That's a great question. Man, that's a good question.
When you're my age, and I was having beers with a couple of guys over here at Old Oakland, and sometimes at our age you get talking about stuff, and two of the guys had this surgery and said, this is the doctor we both used. And it went so, because I'm just telling you, when you're dealing with the PP, I needed recommendations. You know what I mean?
You were talked into crank surgery by buddies drinking beer. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Love this. This is so great.
Yeah. I said, man, I kind of just piss myself once in a while. And two guys are like, yeah, me too. Oh, hell. And then that, it started a whole conversation. I'm sure Depends were involved.
I do want to credit your strategy, though. Like, you're making it seem like, I said, how about tomorrow? And like, it makes you some kind of hero. No, that's the way to go. You don't want to have to think about it. You don't want it to be like a month from now, and you're just spending the entire month thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to have surgery on my wiener. I love that. I would do the same thing. Like, tomorrow, let's go. Let's get it done.
I knew I had to have it for a year. I mean, if I was really going to be honest with you, and people will make fun of me about it, but man, you got to get checked. The prostate's no joke. I started having to make damn sure I didn't piss myself at night and put a towel down there. And I did that for like 2 days, and I'm like, no, I ain't doing this shit. I'm getting rid of it. I mean, no. And next move was going to be Depends. So he went in there, roto-rootered it around. Psh, now I'm like pissing on a flat rock, baby. There you go.
Dude, that's such a power move for an old guy. That's an old guy power move. Like, some people have like a foundation guy. Some people have an electrical guy. Dan has a dick guy, and that's awesome.
I got a dick guy. That's right. I mean, he asked my wife, did I need a reduction after he saw everything going on down there? And she's like, no, we're good. But, you know how it goes.
Sure.
Oh, man, this show sucks. Now I'm going to be made fun of, and crap. All right, who's the dumbest person in sports media? Danny.
I'm going to go with Dan Dakich. No, I'm just kidding. I think the correct answer, and the only answer here, quite frankly, is Sarah Spain. I've worked with Sarah. ESPN tried so hard to make her a thing. Like, they tried so hard to make her a thing. And I got forced to work on almost all of them. Like, they started her on a Saturday afternoon with 2 other women. It failed. So they gave her another woman, and then they promoted her again to night times and gave her a co-host, and they gave her another. Like, every time it would fail, they would just blame whoever Sarah Spain was with rather than blaming Sarah Spain. And they just kept at it over and over and over, and she was horrible to work with. I try not to talk a lot of crap about the people I worked with. I know here at Outkick, we have some things to say about people like Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes is always super nice, and she is really smart, and she works really hard. She says a couple of dumb things, fine. But Sarah Spain, I have no problem talking about because she was awful to work with. I hated it. I hated every minute I had to spend with her. I can't believe ESPN spent so much time trying to make her a thing when she was never going to be a thing. The answer is Sarah Spain, and there's not another answer. I won't accept another answer. Hammer, you can talk for as long as you want, but that is the answer.
I will say this about Sarah Spain. I remember when she was like a comedian, podcaster, or whatever, blogger in Chicago. It wasn't the feminist Sarah Spain back then. She made herself available for some dude to be an escort when the Bears made the Super Bowl. She did a wacky "I'm screwing Steve Bartman" parody to go along with something Jimmy Kimmel was doing. Could you imagine woke Sarah Spain doing a "I'm screwing Tom Brady" video now? It's funny how when you realize you can advance your career, you kind of change your morals. You may be right, but I'll take the Temu version. I'm going to take the JV version, and that's Katie Nolan at ESPN. They tried to shove Katie Nolan down your throats. She was this cute little poppy girl. She had a late night show, and then she becomes friends with Dan Le Batard and all this other stuff. The problem was she's not any good. She's just not entertaining. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11 here, but she's not as cute as she thinks she is to be pulling off that kind of power move act. So you may be right with Sarah. She may be more unbearable, unlikable, but the Temu version, the other one they tried to shove down your throats, was Katie Nolan.
Katie Nolan got $1 million a year up front, and as you both said, that failed. And she's now on a show where she says she's educating the casual fan on sports. I think it's on Sirius XM Radio. I kind of liked Katie Nolan when she was at CBS. I kind of thought, all right. And I did like Sarah Spain whenever I went in before she became what she became. She would be the update girl at AM 1000 in Chicago, and she always sat in this one area, and I'd walk by her to do my show and talk, and she's great. But then she became, as you said, woke Sarah Spain and just a miserable. I was
the reason Katie Nolan is not as unlikable as Sarah Spain is because at least Katie Nolan, I don't think, takes herself that serious. Like Sarah Spain takes herself way too seriously for the job that we're doing, right? Like we're in sports media. We're talking about Dan's penis surgery. Like that's what you need to be doing in this medium.
That's right. If
Look at that picture.
About your penis
Look at that picture up there. I'll be damned. They found it. Was that
right? Yeah,
when you went in?
Definitely. And we need a golf clap for the staff today. Your staff has absolutely been really on it today. It has been a great day for the Dan Dakich staff.
I'm just saying that I will tell you this. I walked in and I looked at my wife and you're getting ready for surgery. They put the IV in, and I'm like, man, I've never been nervous. I've had 1 million surgeries. I've never been nervous. This one's making me shit myself. It did. I don't like them messing around down there, Danny Z. When I had a vasectomy, it got infected. And when you think you've had pain before, and then, you're supposed to sit for 2 days. I had to do a basketball clinic for a friend of mine at a high school in Toledo, and I went there. Next thing you know, I came home and enough. Thank you, guys. I got to move it along. Great job, my staff. Thanks, guys. It's not really
We're going out on an infected penis story? All right. Good night, everybody.
Is that fitting or what?
I thought it was Hammer that was going to say something grotesque that ruined everyone's day. Dakich coming in out of nowhere being the guy this week. What a day.
Off the top rope.
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's glorious. We'll be right back. I got some prize picks for you, Joe Kinsey.
This fall,
you're not just watching the biggest game in college football.
You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit outkick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
So are we going to have YouTube TV and Fox and everything? Everything's going to be fine by game day, right?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. At least if you're a YouTube TV subscriber, the statement that Fox put out last night was scathing, to say the least. They accused YouTube TV of, taking advantage of their sort of, power and monopoly in the marketplace and not having any sort of serious discussion. So at this point, if I'm a YouTube TV subscriber and I want to watch Texas, Ohio State, my plan is to get up early and get a seat at the bar.
Well, that's a great plan. Actually.
Meanwhile, Chad, if you want to see Auburn and Baylor, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed.
Yeah, as a Fox employee, I've got the free subscription to Fox One, so I can watch Auburn and Baylor on there. That's kind of a humble brag on my part, but I will be seeing that even as a YouTube TV subscriber, which is amazing for me. Not so much for the college football fan out there. Amanda, when you cover these stories in sports business and coverage of leagues that get into these disputes with providers, isn't the ultimate loser just the consumer of the sport or that product? Like, we understand why these things happen with one gigantic company wanting more money out of another gigantic company. That part of it to me is kind of boring, but what the actual effect is to the fan.
Oh, this show is sponsored by Prize Picks. It's brought to you by Prize Picks. I really enjoy Prize Picks. I do. I go more or less than. And as we all know, last week, I just absolutely nailed it. And I'm going to ride a horse again. Daniel Jones, more than 207.5 yards. I'm going more than. I think Daniel Jones is on a roll. Now, problem you have is the Broncos are really good, but I'm going to the game, and one of the things that happens when I go to the game is the Colts play well. So I'm going to take Dollar Danny to go more than 207.5 passing yards. I like the Detroit Football Lions. You all are mad at the Detroit Football Lions. I'm taking Jamar Gibbs more than 24.5 receiving yards against the Bears. I didn't say rushing. I said receiving. Hey, do yourself a favor. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH. That's me. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Dakich, DAKICH. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It is Screencaps. It is Joe Kinsey. Run the stinger and let's get into hot women, good eats, and fast cars, shall we? Yo. All right, Joe, welcome. We're still cutting grass here in the great state of Indiana, in the beautiful city of Indianapolis. The weather is fantastic. Joe, Screencaps number one. I don't know if we got a situation there. There we go. Screencaps number one, the lovely, Morgan. Let's see Morgan Ketzner. Yeah, look
Morgan
at her.
Ketzner.
Ripped, huh?
Listen, ripped. You know, Morgan Ketzner loved that pick for Jahmyr Gibbs over 24.5, Dan. That is a brilliant pick. You saw the Detroit Lions offensive line have trouble last week. Morgan knows it. I know it. You know it. The only way the Lions are going to slow down a pass rush is with some dinks and dunks to Jahmyr Gibbs outside, Dan. Morgan Ketzner gets it. You get it. And what a way to kick off this Screencaps recap. Morgan Ketzner, one of the most amazing bikinis of the summer, Dan. By the way, Dan, it's still summer out there. I don't know if you realized it. It's going to be 90 degrees here next week, probably down in Indianapolis, just like here in Northwest Ohio. Summer is still here. Morgan gets it this week.
We ain't afraid of summer, Joe. We're not afraid of keeping that thing going. Miss Savannah Grace in the house, Joe.
Savannah Grace. Savannah Grace popped up on the timeline this week. There is a swimming hole in Hawaii. She's jumping off a cliff, Dan, and I'll tell you what, it's the most beautiful swimming hole I've ever seen. I got to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you on DM. You'll love it. Miss Savannah Grace has my attention because she does a lot of different, outdoor activities. She rides in the back of a truck, loves the cowboy hat scene, Dan. I've said it over and over, ladies. If you want to get the attention on Instagram, be unique. Miss Savannah Grace gets it. She got in this week in Screencaps Recap.
Yeah. Hey, look, go get him, Savannah Grace. I'm all in. Bella Mars. Who's Bella Mars? Bella, Chilla, Bella. Oh, Bella. Hello, Bella.
Bella Mears, I think. I don't know. I have no idea. Dan, why don't they just have a regular name for their Instagram? Ladies, how the hell are you going to market this name, Bella Mears? Bella Mears? I don't know. Dan, this is the bullshit of it. These ladies need to get it together and get their names correct so we can do Screencaps Recap correctly. Anyway, listen. The bikini is different here, Dan. It's the neon. You don't see neon bikinis much anymore.
I like neon.
But this week, I don't know if it's the algorithm or what, but I'm now seeing neon workout gear, Dan. I think it might be back in. Check with Mrs. Dakich. See if neon workout gear is back in. I think it is, based on the algorithm.
My wife, the lovely and talented Lee Ross Dakich, we call her LLRD, has not had any neon on. Now, she is a worker at Athleta, which is America's women's fashion, and she's not brought home any neon, but I'm going to go ask her.
Okay.
I'd like to see her in a little, give me a little neon. Sky. The hell is Sky, Joe?
Again. Oh, no, they went Kayla Moody on you.
Wow. Oh, Kayla Moody. I skipped one. I'm sorry. Kayla Moody. Great look right there, Cracker Barrel. God bless
Kayla Moody. She got the memo. Dan, it never fails. We see somebody come through Screencaps Recap who just understands it. Number one, Dan, she uses a damn name in her ad. She has Kayla in there. I'll remember that, Dan. You and I, we're dumb, but we'll remember Kayla Moody. Big week for Cracker Barrel. If you didn't see, Dan, they said, we're not going to whitewash our walls anymore. We're getting rid of all this change we were going to do, and we're going to refocus on the food. It's about time that these morons got their minds wrapped around what makes Cracker Barrel great, man. And Kayla Moody bringing back Uncle Herschel on her chest. That's a brilliant marketing move. Cracker Barrel might want to get her to do a signing.
Man, she can do anything she wants. Sky. That's a great picture, by the way. That gets the old guys going here. That gets these kind of things I like. But that other one, Kayla Moody, God bless him, Merrick. Go ahead, Sky. What?
Yeah, Sky. I forget her last, Skylar, I believe. There's a lot of Skylers in the world now. Skylar Simpson, I believe. She's down in Florida. Here's the deal about her, Dan, is she used to be really thin. She had the Instagram, the very thin figure. And then I can't remember what year it was. She said the hell with it. She started eating red beans and rice like rap videos, Dan. It was like BET at 3 a.m. Skylar said, I'm just going to let my curves flow. And now here we are. Skylar is one of the curvier models that you're going to see on Instagram. I think it's a good look. She differentiated herself. She knew what she couldn't maintain the figure with the beanstalk image. So she said, the hell with it. I'm going to start eating the red beans and rice.
There you go. Hey, red beans and rice. Baby got back. I like it. What do you got here, Joe? What's the last one here?
Hell, I don't know.
There you go. Where's she
been? That's a good question. Is she working in a factory again? That's what we need to find out, is where in the hell did Haktua go? Because when your 15 minutes is over, it's really over if you're Haktua. Like, you know what? I assume we could probably get her on here at this point. I mean, she's probably like, I'll take any exposure I can get. Hawk Tua is probably back in Kentucky with her Meemaw.
Their Meemaw and her Papa.
That's where she was
Yeah,
before she was Hawk Tua. She was with her Meemaw.
Oh, my God, Joe. I appreciate you, brother. Have a great weekend.
Hey, hit them straight, Dan.
Oh, my gosh. There he goes. Meemaw, Papa. I'm going to give you a bet. I'm going to give you a bet right here, right now. I'm going to tell you, and I don't necessarily love this bet, but this is a bet that always hits when I go to the game. The Colts are playing really good defense, or at least they played really good defense against a bad team in week 1. They're playing against a really good defense in the Denver Broncos. The over-under is 42.5. Morons are going to tell you, Lou Amaretto's defense with the Colts is great. You can't bet against that. I mean, you're crazy if you think you can score against the Denver Broncos. That's the exact reason, sort of, that we're taking over 42.5 in this Colts game. The other reason, don't know why, I go to maybe 2 Colts games a year. I'm going this Sunday with my buddy Cam Safali and his lovely wife, Robin. Every time I go to a Colts game, they hit the over. Every time. Somebody said, well, I think you're at the Detroit game last year and that game didn't hit. That may be true. Let me say this. Every time in my memory that I go to the Colts game, they hit the over. Colts are going to hit the over for 2 reasons. 1, I'm going to be there. And 2, every moron that you, me, whoever follows on these betting sites is going to say the under. This is how you win money. You fade the public. I am betting that like it's my job. The other bet that I'm going to make, and look, I don't know whether or not you're going to agree with this. I don't know whether or not you're going to disagree with this, but I'm going to take, staying in Indiana, the Indiana Hoosiers over 59.5 points against Indiana State. Combined, 2 teams. This one makes me a little nervous. Last week, I figured Kennesaw would get a touchdown. I don't know that Indiana State can, but it's not going to surprise me if Kurt Cignetti runs it up. Only reason he might not is because the coach on the other side is Kurt Mallory. His dad, Bill Mallory, one of, if not the greatest football coaches in Indiana football history. But I like that bet. I do. The other bet that I'm going to take, and I hate to do this because I really like Deion Sanders, is I'm going to take Houston -4 against Deion Sanders. The quarterback situation without Shador at Colorado seems to be a mess. And when you got a messy situation there and you're on the road, not buying into it. Take Houston, give the 4. Toes will be tapping. Have a great weekend, everybody. What a great week for our guys. Nick and Dylan and Davey and Brooke, Gary, Aaron, Clay, everybody that's associated, Chuck and Ryan. Just great guys on this show. Love you. See you Monday.